fan because I called his coming out fight against Bradis Prescott.
He's
and
special.
then various other stepping stones throughout his career.
I also think he's one of those guys that if you tell him he can't do something, he wants to show you and shock the world.
1,000%. Absolutely right.
I also think Canelo is slowing down.
I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 if I'm just being generous.
You know, becoming the first undisputed world champion of 4-belt era in 3 different weight classes. Really. And the way he did it and, you know, the class that he showed.
Joe Rogan reacts to Terence Crawford's win over Canelo Alvarez, saying Crawford shines the most when people doubt him. He explains that whenever fans or critics say Crawford can't handle a challenge, it only drives him to prove them wrong. Rogan highlights Crawford's smooth style and sharp punches that let him show off his power on the biggest stage. He believes this victory confirms Crawford as one of the most talented fighters in boxing today. Bond Hill tweeted, "I'm now convinced Crawford would beat any version of Floyd Mayweather." That bold statement shows how highly people rate Crawford's latest performance. Defeating Canelo Alvarez has boosted his legacy to another level, with many now thinking he could even surpass the unbeaten Floyd Mayweather. Crawford's success in multiple weight divisions and his ability to adjust in the ring explain why this belief is spreading.
Get ready to subscribe totally to that because, again, you're talking about somebody who is stubborn. And
for sure.
Who wants to prove everything he can prove.
100%. I agree with that too. But I think there's like in boxing and certainly in MMA, there's a certain amount of years where a fighter can keep the RPMs up. And you know, when you're in the red line, and there's some people subscribe to the idea of 9 years. There's 9 years is the most that a elite fighter in MMA has performed at their prime. I think that's a bullshit number because I think it's entirely dependent upon lifestyle, nutrition, discipline, physical attributes. There's a lot of factors.
George Foreman won the heavyweight championship of the world in boxing at age 45.
True, but he took 10 years off.
Gareth, speaking as a commentator, said he fully agrees that Crawford is stubborn and always wants to prove himself. He added that in boxing and MMA, fighters only have so many years where they could stay at their peak, pushing at full speed. Some people say 9 years is the limit for elite fighters in MMA, but Gareth disagrees. He argued that it really depends on lifestyle, nutrition, discipline, and natural ability. He reminded fans that George Foreman became heavyweight champion at 45, though he did take a long break from the sport. Gareth then highlighted how Terence Crawford gave one of the greatest performances boxing has ever seen. Not only did Crawford move up 3 weight classes to face Canelo, but he was also older and coming off over a year out of the ring. Despite those obstacles, he showed incredible skill, control, and composure that few fighters in history have ever matched. Gareth stressed that fans should view this as a rare moment of greatness, proof that Crawford can beat every challenge and rise above all expectations. Shocker Stevenson also posted on X, giving respect to Canelo. He said too many fighters today avoid tough matchups, but praised Canelo for never being afraid to take on the best. Stevenson called him a legend, reminding fans that greatness isn't just about winning, it's about having the courage to take risks against top opponents.
Throughout the course of the week, we said that this is a game of IQ. There's going to be movement within the fight. You're going to have to answer different types of questions and bring different types of game plans. Crawford did that. He was able to do it backwards. He was able to do it forwards. He could trade in the pocket, catch the stuff, and then counter. He was absolutely magnificent. Listen, I know this is raw and we've only just walked out the stadium, right?
10 minutes to go.
And when the dust settles on this, we'll probably have better answers and better thought processes. And I'm sure people watching this will get stuck into the comments and maybe say what I'm about to say is quite outlandish. That might be the single best performance that I have ever witnessed live. It was absolutely tremendous. You've got to take into consideration the weight jump. This is a man that was champion at 135, 140, 147, and obviously recently at 154. But let's be honest, he even jumped up to 154 pounds for that. To go then up to 168 and take on the former pound-for-pound #1 king on a Mexican holiday weekend in Las Vegas and managed to beat him on the cards when the judges tried to do him, mate, it is out of this world what Terence Crawford just did. And he needs all the flowers in the world, he needs all the praise in the world. And I don't think you're wrong, mate, by saying he's the pound-for-pound #1. It's an ever-moving list. That performance alone deserves to put him right at the top of the chart.
Yeah, he's become... There's an argument that he becomes an all-time great with that performance, like you say, because the majesty, the poise, the presence all week, the pinpoint accuracy of everything he did in there, to the fact that in the end Canelo was frustrated and knew he couldn't do anything to Crawford, and he started
visibly frustrated, wasn't it?
No, visibly frustrated that he started to do a weird kind of showboating because he didn't have any answers for what was happening and unfolding in front of him. I think Terence Crawford has rubber-stamped himself as an all-time great tonight, and I want to revise a view on him. I wondered whether he would have been capable of beating Floyd Mayweather at welterweight.
Oh, you're going for it now, aren't you?
And I think, yeah, we got to. I think he may well have...
Paulie Malignaggi pointed out that Crawford had done something truly historic. Becoming an undisputed champion in 4 different divisions is extremely rare, and the way Crawford pulled it off against Canelo made it even more special. Malignaggi compared Crawford's dominance to the way Floyd Mayweather ruled in his time, calling this the start of Crawford's own era. His view showed that this fight was more than just a big win. It represented a shift in boxing, with Crawford now seen as the defining star of this generation.
Flawless. I mean, Terence Crawford has had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world-class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round. When you look back at Bud Crawford's career, there is something really special. It's one of those things now, because now I've now seen back-to-back generations of Floyd Mayweather and Bud Crawford, and man, you know, it's one of those things where now I understand why the people that lived in the Ray Leonard era say, you know, wish we could see Ray Leonard against Mayweather, and how that would be, because it just leaves such an empty feeling when you have such special fighters that were in different generations, and you saw both of them. You know, I saw the entirety of the Mayweather generation, I saw the entirety of the Bud Crawford generation. Just incredible, really, really incredible. And I know Mayweather gets a lot of hate, but for me, he's a tremendous fighter. And Terence Bud Crawford is in that realm as well. And it's a fight we'll never get to see. So what are we gonna do? You know, it'll be up to the fantasy fights. You know, but let's get into it, man. I want to get into the undercard as well and some of my thoughts on the Netflix show. But let's get into the main event first. Crawford really boxed very, very well, very, very intelligently. The question mark was what happens when Crawford gets hit cleanly. I'm not sure he got hit cleanly at the whole fight. You know, he got hit with some partial shots. Some shots landed cleanly, but by the time Canelo started landing anything cleanly, I think he was hesitant because he was getting countered so much that he was taking some of the steam off the shots in order to hope to be more accurate. Because even late in the fight, there were a couple of shots that Canelo landed, but
Devin Haney landed some sharp punches with a few clean shots. But by the time Canelo started connecting with anything solid, he was already hesitant. Haney explained that Canelo was being countered so often that he had to take power off his punches just to try and land more accurately. Even late in the fight, though Canelo landed a couple of shots, Haney's reaction showed just how dominant Crawford was. He said he couldn't give Canelo more than 3 or 4 rounds at best. Haney's comment was both an analysis and a challenge, making it clear how one-sided Crawford's win looked. It also suggested that even a young champion like Haney now sees Canelo as no longer the unstoppable force he used to be.
Score it, Devin. I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 if I'm just maybe.
Are you shocked or not?
Hey, right here to my left.
Are you shocked or not?
No, I'm not shocked. I knew that.
A fan tweeted, "True competitors are all champions. There's no loss in the pursuit of sincere glory. Thank you and congratulations to Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. The warrior spirit won tonight." This message showed deep respect for both fighters, reminding everyone that greatness is measured not only in victory, but also in courage and dedication. Del Haney said Crawford's dismantling of Canelo looked even easier than his win over Errol Spence. He claimed he had predicted this outcome, pointing to Crawford's greatness. His view highlighted how effortless Crawford made the fight look despite Canelo's reputation. By comparing it to the Spence bout, Bell emphasized Crawford's growing ability to shut down elite opponents, making each victory appear smoother and more dominant than the last.
Exactly. And you guys knew what was going to happen. You were in denial. That shit looked easier than Errol Spence. Didn't look, huh?
It's a brilliant performance. Brilliant performance.
Man. Shout out to Team Crawford, Bo Mack, and that whole team, man. You know what I mean?
Where'd you rank him all-time list after that?
I mean, put his face on Mount Rushmore. get what I'm saying? He deserves his place, for sure, for sure.
Did you score it, Bill?
Yeah, I scored it a lot for Crawford and a very little for Canelo and Eddie. I don't know.
112?
I don't know. I mean, I could pick one or two. I could pick one or two and then or something like that. And
I know it's straight after the fight,
hey.
but do you want to see Crawford go out on that, or do you think there'll be a rematch?
No, I don't hear a bunch of parties going on. I've listened. It sounds like a funeral home in Allegiant Stadium. Did Crawford win? It sounds like it's a funeral home. Look, you see over there. You see it's quiet. It's quiet as shit. Yeah. Is it a holiday or what? Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, that's a Crawford fan. He's Mexican. Now, listen. Hey, y'all know what's up. Crawford done did it. And only person that's talking is me. November 22nd. If you don't want to hear nothing else.
Another fan tweeted, Crawford is out of his prime and older than Canelo, but beat him fair and square. No catch weight or nothing. I mean, he lost to a fighter who came up 3 weight classes. No excuses. This reaction captured the weight of Crawford's achievement, stressing that even while older and moving up multiple divisions, he still proved the better man. It left no space for excuses, marking the win as one of the greatest moments in boxing history. Analysts agreed this fight was about more than belts. It was about legacy. The story was simple. The winner would be crowned the best of this era. With Crawford's triumph, he claimed that title without question. Experts praised how perfectly he executed his game plan, shutting down Canelo's weapons while showing every skill he had. The debate quickly shifted from whether Crawford belongs among the greats to deciding where he ranks in all of boxing history.
You need rehydrate, you need this. No, you don't. If you're actually a man who is willing to, challenge himself and not a little boy who's afraid, then yeah, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. And Terence Crawford did it, and he did it damn well. Credit to Terence Crawford. Absolutely. Honestly, I'm still, because for me, although I was picking Canelo Alvarez to win this fight, and although I've been a fan of Canelo Alvarez for many, many years, he was one of the main guys who got me into boxing. I have loved Terence Crawford, loved watching him fight for years and years and years. I remember staying up at the time, and I actually made sure to get the HBO feed to get his fight with Victor Postal. And I remember, it wasn't one of his more entertaining fights, but I remember just being just in awe of the skill and ability of Terence Crawford at the time. I remember Bob Arum, they're both run by Top Rank, when people were saying, oh, could Loma fight Terence Crawford? And Bob Arum said that would be suicide. It would have been suicide, could you imagine? Good Lord. I can't put into words how happy I am to be proven wrong, because I love watching Terence Crawford. I think he is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And it's really fit, right? I love Canelo Alvarez, right? But it's really fit that at the top of boxing, we have 2 of the most honest champions, honest men you could ever see, you could ever imagine. And that being Alexander Usyk and Terence Crawford, 2 friends. And I think they really sum up this era of boxing. If we are coming to the end of it as a whole, I think they really sum it up that if you're dedicated to your profession and you're willing to stay disciplined.
Back to Joe Rogan, he reacted with passion to the fight, saying Crawford proved himself the better boxer than Canelo. He explained that Crawford isn't just a great puncher, he also has the mindset and adaptability of a wrestler, which makes him even more dangerous. Rogan pointed out that Crawford's ability to move up in weight and dominate such a huge challenge was an incredible achievement, comparing it to some of boxing's historic moments. In his view, Crawford did something even greater than Hagler ever managed, securing his place among the sport's elite with flawless execution.
Bob's really good.
Yeah, he's really fucking good.
But I just think Crawford is, it's weird to say against Canelo, but I think he's the better boxer, and I think he's the guy who can make the better in-fight adjustments if Canelo doesn't kill him.
It's gonna be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47. Right?
Now
so
he's
goes
going
to
to
54, now he's going to 68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
But Terence is, I think he's the best switch hitter since Hagler.
They claim Hagler was.
Meanwhile, one fan tweeted, Jake Paul mocks lying weirdo Canelo Alvarez with brutal slam after losing to Terence Crawford. This showed how Paul quickly took a shot at Canelo, keeping their rivalry alive while making sure he stayed in the spotlight by targeting one of boxing's biggest names. At the same time, Roy Jones Jr., one of the greatest fighters ever, declared that Crawford had reached a new level of greatness. He called him special, saying no fighter today can match him after such a performance. Praise from Roy carried extra weight because of his legendary career. His words made it clear that Crawford's victory was more than just another win. It was a defining moment that permanently raised his status in boxing history.
I felt kind of like they had it. It was a very close fight coming down to the last 2 rounds, but Bud put him out. And he fought very smart, let Canelo wear himself down early, and then he started fighting late. He was very smart.
Not many people gave Bud a chance, but he dominated in there tonight. Do you see anyone from this era beating Terence Crawford?
No, nobody's gonna beat him. Nobody's gonna beat him.
What makes him so special?
The fact that he's fought on both sides, and he's a winner at heart. His heart is everything.
But the scorecards right. 2 judges gave it to him by 1 round.
Yeah, we supposed to fight. I'll tell you what you like. Well, if you like Canelo's aggressive, you gave it by like 1 or 2 rounds. But if you like boxing, they'll won by a few more rounds.
What should both guys do next?
What?
What should both guys do next?
I mean, Canelo probably got to go back and decide what he wants to do. Bud, if I was Bud, I would just retire. Who wants out?
Hai Apataya admitted he wasn't shocked by Crawford's victory. He explained that he already knew the level of determination and talent Crawford brought into the fight. For him, Crawford's mix of willpower and skill made the result feel inevitable. Apataya's comments showed how other fighters respect the depth of Crawford's drive, proving that his mental toughness is just as valuable as his physical ability.
On points, bro, crazy.
How did you have it?
I had him up, like, convincingly. Awesome fight. Hey, science of the sport. This guy adapts. I knew it.
How did you know he was going to win? Why?
He's got too much ammunition. You know, southpaw, orthodox, on the back foot. That's what changes good from great is knowing how to adapt. You know, back foot, front foot. Yeah, that's the difference.
Devin Haney said he wants him to retire after that. Do you agree with that?
Devin Haney's. No, where is he? I know what's he doing. So,
what do you think of it? Do you want Crawford to retire or you want him to continue?
Hey, he's doing well. It's been good. Hey, what a performance.
Johnny Fisher's reaction summed up what many were thinking. Why talk about retiring Crawford after such an incredible performance? He called the fight a generational classic, saying Crawford still has plenty more to give. His words connected with fans who felt they were watching history unfold and weren't ready for it to end. Fisher's take shifted the discussion away from retirement and toward the question of how much more Crawford can still accomplish.
Etched himself in boxing history right now, and to go up to them 2 weight divisions, unbelievable to do it. Someone like Canelo. I've never seen Canelo have that body language at the end of a fight where he's shaking his head. So credit to both
see Canelo retire now?
Yeah, of course. I think Abzashira just knocking on the door to fight Canelo.
You don't think he should retire now?
No. He's up to him. That's his own personal discretion. He's making millions and millions of dollars, and he will continue to make millions of dollars. He's not been destroyed. He's not been cuffed. He's just big John shouting out some yeah, through that solves that man.
Devin Haney said he wants to see Terence Crawford retire now. Do you agree?
All the people saying retire. Why are we trying to retire these great fighters before their time? If they're enjoying it and they're fit to do it, let them continue. Why are we trying to get rid of them?
A fan tweeted that Canelo is still one of the best despite losses to Mayweather and Crawford, showing respect for his legacy and acknowledging his greatness even with those high-profile defeats. At the same time, Crawford's rise through the weight classes is one of the most remarkable stories in modern boxing. Starting at 135 pounds, he has now conquered divisions at 140, 147, and 168. Nobody else has done it the way he has. His ability to move up in weight while keeping his speed, accuracy, and power proves unmatched versatility. This accomplishment alone secures his place in boxing history, showing he isn't just great in one division, but across the sport as a whole.
Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez by unanimous decision. Terence Crawford does the impossible by becoming the first boxer in history to be undisputed in 3 different weight classes, 140, 147, and 168 pounds. He started out as a 135-pound champion and made it all the way up to 168 pounds, beating the undisputed champion Canelo Alvarez, who's one of the greatest fighters of our generation. Tonight, Terence Crawford looked stronger, looked faster, looked like he had higher IQ. He was just dominant the whole fight. His natural counterpunching instincts and just fight awareness, fight IQ, he did everything perfect. Like I predicted, Terence Crawford was going to give him problems and Canelo was going to get frustrated, but I didn't think it was going to be that dominant. Every time Canelo threw one punch, Terence Crawford hit him with 3, 4, 5 blistering hard shots. Terence Crawford will go down as one of the top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the history of.
Crawford's performance against Canelo will be remembered as a true masterclass. He broke down a fighter known for his strength, timing, and toughness and made it look easy. Every round highlighted sharper tactics, smarter adjustments, and pinpoint punching. By the end, the fight wasn't about who had more power, it was about who had more skill. And Crawford showed he was operating on a completely different level. This performance became the ultimate statement of his greatness.
2 huge fights have been finalized for late 2025, and Errol Spence versus Jermell Charlo in negotiations for early 2026. So the first fight announced is Lamont Roach versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz in December 2025. Roach, he obviously deserved the Tank rematch, but Tank instead he's taking the Jake Paul fight. So Roach, he's going to stay active and take on Cruz. And who knows, the winner of this fight, it probably should get Tank next. Next fight, Errol Spence versus Jermell Charlo is being negotiated for early 2026. All the details are still being finalized, but both guys making their return after 2.5 years. Charlo since losing to Canelo, Spence since losing to Crawford, and this is a great rebound test for both guys. Next fight, Naoya Inoue versus Alan Picasso for December 27th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Inoue making his Saudi debut, and that'll be his 4th undisputed fight this year. Obviously, he's got to get past Muradjan Akhmadaliev this Sunday, but if he can get past Akhmadaliev, it sets up the Picasso fight in December. Also on the co-main event of the Naoya Inoue card in December will be Junto Nakatani. He'll be making his 122-pound debut against a top contender. And the plan is if both guys win their fights in December, they'll fight next May in Japan for undisputed.